Another month, another portfolio update. For the UK, we've actually changed the Prime Minister. The pound has somewhat recovered, and all the turmoil in the last month seems to be getting into a slightly better trend. We have finally surpassed the £3,000 mark, which is pretty momentous. I was only aiming to get 2 by Christmas, but by selling a few collectibles of a few hobbies that I'm no longer into, I was able to raise a bit more additional funds. Now, going into Christmas, it's a busy period, as for most of us, and we all know that economically everything's kind of in the toilet at the moment. So I don't expect it to grow incredibly over Christmas, but into the new year, it'll be interesting to see how a lot of stocks pan out. Now, there has been a few that have left the portfolio and a few that have joined, but one thing that remains is the core companies. You'll start to see that whilst my portfolio changes a wee bit from video to video as I learn new things, discover new companies, and change up my own investing strategy, I definitely do have a few companies that are staying with me the whole way. So let's jump right into it. 14 holdings, and first up is, and most of you probably could have guessed it, Airtel Africa. This portfolio would in fact be in the green if it wasn't for the fact that Airtel Africa is currently down 20% at £92. Got really hammered in today's morning trading. They reported all good news except profits. Profits were down a bit. But they had growth in revenue and whatnot and customer base, so I'm pretty confident going forward with them. They do hold a 15% target. At the moment, that's only 11%, akin to the fact that they have dropped so much. But what does that mean? For me, that's opportunity. I'll definitely be buying a wee bit more into Airtel Africa. And then we have our second big player in the game. We have National Grid. Now, a lot of these companies I did do dividend videos on at the start of the channel. I will be redoing all of them because I have a lot more tools to do a deeper analysis. Now, it does set at about 9.1%, target of 10% isn't too bad at all. We have Legal & General, of course, another one of the core ones. I'd say these top 4 are definitely ones that will be carrying into the future, especially DS Smith. I love their recycling side of the business. They have recovered plus 10%. As you can see, they've pushed us into the green. There was one stage this portfolio was completely in the green. I think it was Monday, and I was, maybe thinking of doing a video then, but I wanted to wait and see a few things. And to be honest, this has come at the perfect time, and new Prime Minister in, lots of new stuff in the news, and I know there's record profits for Shell. Unfortunately, I don't have any oil companies in this portfolio, and you'll notice that there is no tobacco. Now, a lot of people might call me crazy for not having either of those two massive dividend pairs within my portfolio. Problem for me is both of them are, oil companies are near an all-time high, so I've avoided them for now. They may be joining the portfolio later into next year. Tobacco, also had a few questions about it, but a lot of these stocks, especially the smaller ones, were bargains, really good bargains in the midst of all the trading that was going on. So I picked up additional Legal & General, picked up National Grid, I picked up DS, all of them. I just cost averaged into them. They were down in the red, so the more into the red they went, the more I kind of tried to pick up shares to get my cost average down for them. And it's worked out pretty well so far. They were down about 20% not so long ago. DS was even down, so they all hold about 10% of the portfolio. Now, international distribution, you might be wondering, is that a new one? No, it's just Royal Mail that changed their name to IDS, International Distribution Services. I don't know what the main reason for that, but it is what it is. I bought quite a bit of them when they were really low. They actually dipped a wee bit there. They did recover at one stage. I think it was plus 50 into the green. But with dividend portfolios, one thing I need to get across is it's not about whether it's in the green. You can almost want it in the red in certain instances. Not obviously in 10 years' time if it's majorly in the red. That there's a few issues, but you want to be slowly cost averaging into the red when you can. In my own strategy, none of this is financial advice. That almost came off as advice. It's not. My way of investing is if it is in the red, because this is a long-term dividend portfolio, I just cost average into it. And that's the way I do it personally. I will be doing a video on my thoughts of how I invest. A lot of you have been commenting, looking at a video on that, and I'll be glad to provide it. We have Greggs here. They're at 5% target, but at the moment they are actually up 7% in my portfolio, so they take a wee bit more. Taylor Wimpey, a house builder, is sitting at plus 10%. I got them at a really good discount, as did I with PHP, Primary Health Properties, which do care homes. Great wee pickup for me. We have Associated British Foods. The thing about them is they also own Primark. I didn't know that. That was a new one to me. I picked them up. Amazing balance sheet. A lot of good things about the company. I haven't done a video on them as of yet, but it is definitely in the works. Smith & Nephew, medical equipment. It's down at the moment. It's actually, they reckon its intrinsic value, it's like 100% down from where it should be. So it's like trading at half of a fair value according to a lot of models. Business models like discounted cash flow, not actual models. Burberry here, fashion brand. It sits there nicely at 5%. It's definitely one of the core ones as well that I'll be keeping into the future. Although it's been doing very well over the last couple of weeks as opposed to a lot of other companies. For Expo, we picked them up. They are a mining firm. Unfortunately, they have mines in the centre of Ukraine. Unfortunately, due to the war, production's a bit off at the moment, but I've been buying into them in hopes of, I'm optimistic on what's happening on that side, and hopefully peace is found relatively soon, and they can get back to work. So get back to full production, and we'll see how that goes there. CodeScript Textiles, again, fantastic wee pickup. I think I mentioned my wee hometown over here in Northern Ireland was actually built on textiles, so great to that's almost like heritage there. They weren't actually involved in the factory that was in this town, but I had a look at their business model. Things are all on the up and up for them, so I'm glad to have come into them. As well as Dr. Martens. To me, it was a really fascinating company. The more I delved into it, really good, loyal fan base, and their revenue and margins are growing year on year, which looks pretty good. Okay, I have two websites I'm going to use here for you today, Simply Wall Street and Dividend Watch, both for tracking my portfolio and for tracking my dividend payments. I do have links in the description for both of them. They come with a bit of discount if you're looking into the paid version. However, I will go through this. They are all free to use to a certain degree, and you can use quite a bit. I've actually done a video on Dividend Watch, and I will be doing a video on Simply Wall Street very soon. But let's jump into it. So Simply Wall Street, you can see my whole portfolio using their wee snowflake model. For anyone unfamiliar with the snowflake model here, it tracks the overall value of the stocks, the sort of future prospects, their past financial performance, the health of the company, so their balance sheet, and then their dividend payment. At the moment, I'm pretty standard. I'm not stellar in anything. It's a value portfolio and income. The dividends aren't crazy. The financial health's pretty good. Past performance is good. Future's looking good. And value is pretty decent as well. And that sort of greatly reflects my investing strategy, just cost averaging into a few great companies that I believe in. We can go down here, a wee bit of the history of the portfolio, growing steadily. You can see there's Airtel Africa, the brown one, growing quite a bit. I'm just growing my positions in all of them as I can. This is actually, a lot of it's in the green. Smith is in the green, Taylor Wimpey, we've got CodeScript, Airtel Africa obviously taking the biggest loss, and because of that it drags the whole portfolio. But listen, whether it's in the red, I prefer sitting in the red for the short to mid term. I like sitting in the red. For the long term, obviously capital gains in green is good, because if I find a better dividend stock and I want to swap over, on some of the outer ones, then being in the green is obviously, pretty good thing. Diversification by company, we've already looked at that in previous videos, and then we can see across industries. Not all that much has changed from last time, but the portfolio sitting at £3,103. Well, give or take £20-30 on these websites against real life trading that you were seeing there. £8,057 in fair value. That's it's pretty undervalued, 61%. Now, obviously, I always say don't take this as it must be and it will reach that at some stage. I don't look at it that way. It's just nice to know that they aren't overpriced. We can go down here to financial health and then dividends. So it averages 6.22. Now, the thing about that is Fair Expo and IDS Royal Mail are extremely high yields. The rest of them do sit in the mid to low. I mean, Burberry and Dr. Martens, they're down in the lower 2%, but I like that. They are companies I will keep into the future, and even if they've a lower yield, most of them are growing their dividend per share year on year, so that's a good thing. Now, let's get on to another exciting aspect on Dividend Watch, where I track my portfolio as well. I do it on both websites. A lot of people might think, it's that might be a bit of inefficient, but I actually do it mostly for the dividends income here, because this is a really, really handy tool. It gives me a glimpse as to what companies are paying and when, and it actually can help me when I'm going to, purchase more stocks. Have I got in before the ex-dividend date in a few cases, because I ended up picking more DS Smith and PHP and Taylor Wimpey, and I actually ended up buying more of all four of them because they were quite deep in the red at one point, and the ex-dividend dates were before these. So it was, in my eyes, pretty good timing. December, not much is happening, but November's £21.67. Most of them being paid out early to mid November. So end of November's video, I'll be able to show you some serious dividend payments, which is pretty good. It'll be our first real solid paying month. January here kicks into Airtel Africa, Associated British Foods and Greggs. February then, a few of the Burberry, Dr. Martens, National Grid, PHP again, all paying out. And we have March, where Legal and General and Royal Mail. Now, Royal Mail's is incredibly high here. I don't know and don't expect it to be that high, but it is a month I will definitely be looking out for. April, we have Smith & Nephew and Greggs. These payouts will grow as I keep buying into the shares into the new year. So, yeah, things are looking well. I know a lot of you like to see total amount of shares, so joint top is Airtel Africa and Coates Group at 300 shares each. Obviously, shares are valued differently. It's £1.27 for Airtel and 63 pence at the moment for Coates Group. Then we've got 200 in Royal Mail, 150 in Fair Expo. We have 150 in Primary Health Properties and 150 in Taylor Wimpey. So we're getting into the hundreds now for most of the stocks. The one I don't own the most of is 8 stocks at Burberry, but that's because they are £18 a share. £20 for Greggs, there's 10 of them. And then moving up to the likes of Smith & Nephew, National Grid, round to 10, about £10 each. Dr. Martens and DH Smith sort of £3, £2 mark. Taylor Wimpey sits at £1, as does the next two. So yeah, things are looking good. Now, I have of course raised a bit of extra funds and been saving quite a bit over the past month or two. Going into Christmas, into November, I have a few things that I want to do. I want to upgrade the setup and all a wee bit going into Christmas. And to be honest, with all your support so far, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for leaving lovely likes, comments, let me know suggestions of videos. I know a lot of you love these portfolio updates, and that's the main reason you're here. But I do want to point out, if you ever want to look into a specific company, let me know in the comments and I'll have a look into it. Do a wee bit of a deep dive. We'll have a look, see what they do, see their financial health, dividends and whatnot. It's greatly appreciated. I do have a lot to do, and 2023 is going to be fantastic. But here, we haven't even passed Halloween yet, so we'll get past that and then we'll smash it into Christmas. And by the way, with all my all the discount codes, I'll have them all in the pinned comment for Simply Wall Street and Dividend Watch. As I grow and as I get more affiliate programs, if I do get discounts at all, I will be sharing them out with you, because all these websites that I do use, they aren't paywalled. A lot of them do have a free version, and I'll be doing videos on the free version and the paid version to compare them all for you. I want to just give you as much information for all the products that I use for these videos, and I'm as transparent as I can. They are affiliate links. There is commission earned. I'm not going to hide behind that, but there will be discounts. So if you were going to just pay for the membership in a vacuum and, you didn't have a discount, then it's better to have a discount. So yes, and it supports the channel, supports everything I'm doing here. And going into 2023, I'm really going to ramp it up. And who knows, into the future, this could become, I'm not going to say a full-time thing. That's the dream for everyone, isn't it? But it could become something that I could do nearly almost part-time, and that would be unbelievable, because at the moment I do it over lunch breaks and I do it in the evenings when I'm not busy. And not to say I enjoy every bit of it. All my videos and content will remain free. There won't be any paywalls for anything I do, because I don't believe in that. I believe, in helping people and understand dividend investing, because I came into it, I didn't know that much. I've learned off other creators and just self-taught, and now I get the best job in the world, being able to help other people. Thank you. I'll see you all in the next portfolio update. Bye-bye.